My colleagues and I are so proud of everything we've achieved so far and those platforms we've built, and really see where we're going. But it hasn't come without challenge, and there's more challenges ahead. I'd say our two big ones that we've had to overcome and are overcoming now are firstly the unlocking the constraints of brownfield sites. Anybody who's worked in developing city areas, and ours is akin to a city area down here, will know that it's all well and good saying there's a brownfield site that's vacant that needs developing. Once you get in there, this is not like developing on the greenfield sites. There are so many constraints around access, around what's underneath when you start digging down, and that leads on to perhaps people coming in and taking speculative punts, it might be said, on some of these sites, and then realizing that the viability is not what it seems. So we've overcome that challenge, frankly, by working with people like the Coastal Capital Local Enterprise Partnership, the Greater Brighton Economic Board, which I chair, and our partners within it, to hook in funding, which has helped to remove some of those issues, helped to take into public ownership some of the more problematic parts of it, and then fund the demolition of things like multi-storey car parks, which weren't being used, which were on there, which were going to cost an awful lot of money to remove. So we are overcoming, we have overcome that part of it. And then another part is the issue about the basic infrastructure. You and I, we know that where people are looking to come in and to invest in somewhere, they want to know that there's a platform there for them to build on, that there are networks there for them to network into, and that there is that basic infrastructure, which is changing. By the way, it's not the same infrastructure people may have wanted 10 or 15 years ago. Now it's about ultra fast broadband. That's got to be an absolutely vital part of it. It's that good communication, that ability to get on. So City Fibre and Worthing Borough Council have formed a very productive partnership. We now have ultra fast broadband links up to most of the business premises. Already over half of the households in Worthing, the public sector buildings are now all linked up to ultra fast broadband. So it's exactly those sort of interventions we're making to put the infrastructure in place to say to people, there's your platform, you can come and plug in straight away and work with us on that.
And what about in terms of, there's always a question for developers around viability, and a developer looking at Worthing who may have experience of the Brighton market. What kind of challenges are you going to face in bringing them across from looking at somewhere like Brighton to looking at Worthing in terms of viability?
Well, look, we know that for developing on a coastal area like Worthing, with some high levels of affluence, with such a desirable place for people who want to come and live and work, then there are going to be some issues sometimes with viability and doing things that are perhaps different to the norm. And then the converse to that is sometimes people can be quite surprised at what they can get once they've developed something. So we've worked, we work closely. Our offers to people always is come and talk to us first, and we can start talking to developers about some of these sites, the ones that we're bringing on, the ones that are perhaps up for sale, to get a good understanding about what is on offer here, what can be done there. It's something that perhaps in the past has been a bit of an issue for people, but there is, when you compare us to some other areas, and we're not in competition with Brighton, we're very much in partnership with our neighbours in Brighton, but when you compare us to some other areas, yeah, there probably are more viable opportunities here in Worthing compared to some other areas. So through our whether it be our place branding exercises, our Time for Worthing campaign, or whether it be working on establishing an inward investment desk for the area, we are absolutely getting out there to tell people about these opportunities, and they are great opportunities as well, and to work with them when they come here to understand the opportunities better and where those interventions ought to be, both for us and for partners, whether it's public or private sector.
And what about the demographics of Worthing? Because often looking at seaside towns on the south coast, demographics are quite an issue. Is that the case in Worthing? What are the challenges there?
Look, like many coastal areas, coastal towns with the coast, we do have an issue, or not an issue so much. We have a reality where historically, traditionally, what has happened is people either raise families here, and then see their, when their kids grow up and go off to university, they leave and don't come back until they want to raise a family. And people come back here to retire from the home counties and elsewhere, which skews demographics a little bit, I suppose, for all those. But there's opportunities within that. The people that move to the coast to retire are genuinely have a degree of affluence and health that is beneficial to a local area. So that is good for business opportunities. So if you talk to the restaurateurs in the area, that there is a good market for them. They get that, and as well as that, we are now seeing a real shift, and this was before COVID as well, but perhaps be accentuated by the effects of the pandemic, of more and more younger people coming into Worthing wanting to set up businesses, set up small business and come on. So there's a shift in the demographics as well.